Blog Talk Radio.
Following ingredients include a look behind the scenes, uncovered until hot, and proof to taste.
I would like, if I may, to take you on a strange journey.
Once upon a time, there was a little girl.
The accident was over a year ago. A second woman has been elected president. A 12th planet has been named in the solar system. The last wild polar bear has died. I slept through it all. I was here for my waking. He called it a beginning. He said it was good. I think he may have thought that anything I did was good.
Welcome to Transition Radio with your host, Mark Angelo Cummings.
And your hostess, Jessica Lynn Cummings.
A show for trans folks by trans folks, here to let your voice be heard.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Transition Radio. My name is Mark Angelo Cummings, your host.
And I am Jessica Lynn Cummings, your hostess. That sounds kind of like a Twinkie or a cupcake or something. I need to just say host. Anyway, tonight's show is being broadcast live from the Land of Enchantment, Silver City, New Mexico. We wanted to take a moment to thank our sponsors, theBreastformStore.com. They have everything you can imagine to enhance your feminizing needs.
And Dr. Vartan Maderosian, a facial feminization specialist based out of Jupiter, Florida. Please visit our website and click on the banners we have there, and please show them your support and tell them Transition Radio sent you.
Yes, absolutely.
Before we start the show, we welcome you all to call in. The number is 646-716-6895. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, 646-716-6895.
Yeah, so call in and voice your opinions. Anyway, on we go with the show. The first is about Jennifer McCarthy.
Yes.
Yeah, and The View.
Yes.
Apparently, J-Lo's boyfriend and backup dancer Casper Smart got caught cheating with a transgender female. This was the topic for Jenny McCarthy on The View, which brought a major backlash from the trans community, ironically, due to the tweet she created and then later removed.
Ironically, that's right. It seems like everything between tweet and...
Why does that surprise me?
Twitter and all sorts of... I mean, it's just great.
Twitter, not Twitter.
I like calling it tweet. Twitter. Because Twitter would be spelled a tweeter.
Yeah, I know.
At this point. Anyway, I wonder if there is an army of trans fascists. I said that right?
Yeah.
Keeping guard to see if anyone dares says anything against trans people. You know, I get to see them now. They have all these little spies waiting for somebody to say anything. Roger, we've got somebody that just said something at such and such time. Let's get at it. Bring in the troops.
You forgot to make the sonar noise. We've got
something coming in and perhaps they said something terrible about trans women or trans men. We have to get on this really quick. Because they're being transmagentics and that, whatever, and all these other great words. Anyway, it's crazy. I mean, what, the past 3 months?
I don't know.
One after the other.
Been an ongoing controversy.
What was that writer's eyewear? That was another one.
Oh, yeah.
Because I had this ad, which is rather a cute ad, that their point was, if you wear these glasses, you will be able to see
things more clearly.
And, you know, if you're once a male, you know, these glasses will help the person that's going to be interested in you realize, okay.
Well, no, it was more along the lines of trying to say you would see life through these glasses more clearly.
Right.
And so what they had was they had a guy that was the bartender, and then they had this hot girl that was sitting on the bar stall. The bartender's shirt said, I have 8 cats. And something or other, yeah. And then on the girl's shirt it said, "I used to be a man,"
or "I'm a man,"
or "I am a man," whatever. So you know, I mean, you can't change biology, people.
I know.
You can change the chemical makeup of our bodies. We can chemically be changed to the opposite gender, but bottom line is, come into reality for a moment and realize that, how can you deny who you once were?
Exactly. And get upset at other people. I mean, an ad.
That guy wouldn't want. Sorry, go ahead.
It jumped down this person's throat, made this person spend money on campaign, on magazines and whatever to put this ad out, and they felt they had to remove it because they were pressured by the trans communities, elitists, hacktivists, pro-advocates, whatever you want to call them.
And what man wouldn't want, a woman that can fix the brakes and change the air filter on the car and cook dinner all in the same day,
Breaking down the gender barrier. We need to stop being so uptight because this is not the way we bring in allies. As a matter of fact, this is a good way of creating enemies.
And women having men that are sensitive and know how to treat a woman. I mean,
exactly.
it goes all the way around in a full circle.
And there's just a bunch of writers out there that are just like attacking people. One of these writers goes by the name of Hannah Anglais, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, from Style Elite. She wrote, despite leaps and bounds recently made in the form of Laverne Cox Time cover and Marriott's LGBT portrait campaign, people just continue to be really, and she really stresses the word, really fucking ignorant, according to her, when it comes to the issue of transgender acceptance. I ask you, how ignorant is that, Hannah?
The latest example is The View's Jenny McCarthy, who tweeted an LOL-free joke in response to rumors Jennifer Lopez backup dancer boyfriend Casper Smart is sexting transgender model Christina Marie. Did Jennifer Lopez's boyfriend cheat with a transsexual model? ? I heard J-Lo gave him an ultimatum. It's either me or her/him. Now, my problem with that is that sounds like Jenny McCarthy was basically reiterating something that J-Lo had already stated. So how is this a joke?
We got a caller. Let's see here. All righty. Caller, give us your name and where are you calling from?
Oh, hey, I wasn't expecting you guys to pick up right away. I was just listening in. I just called in. It's Cece from California.
Hey, Cece, how you doing?
Nothing much. I'm not too sure what exactly you guys are talking about. I just called in to see what the deal is. It sounds like more craziness.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Jenny McCarthy controversy now.
Yeah.
And the J-Lo and her boyfriend and
the writer's eyewear. How it seems like
the writer's eyewear. I thought that shirt was a crack up. Wait, how can people find that offensive? Like, come on, man, really?
I know. It's like, okay.
And they flagged you. Somebody flagged. I don't know.
Yeah, they flagged me. My account for the past 2 weeks, I've been on timeout because every time I put something up, somebody flags it down. And it's like, that's the way of trying to silence a person. I mean, talk about having no balls, literally.
I hope you're taking action to protect yourself, my friend, because, I mean, every advocate at one point has to,
Oh,
yeah,
no.
well, I mean, here is the situation, it's sometimes you got to fight fire with fire. So,
yeah, but, it's like, it comes down to you just got to protect yourself,
Exactly. Yeah. Or we can learn to be tattletales. I mean, everybody else is a bunch of tattletales, so why not us,
Yeah. It's crazy. But I think Facebook has, a double standard, and I believe that there's somebody in Facebook that infiltrated in one of the trans elitists or several because, a lot of the things that have been flagged have no reason to be flagged, or Facebook has no reason to bring it.
Or if they're going to flag that, they should flag the other things too.
Yeah.
In other words, if it's something that says the word tranny anywhere in the picture and they remove it, it should be removed for everything. Even if it's a positive statement or whether it maybe deemed a negative statement, they should treat them all exactly the same. If you don't want tranny on Facebook, then you know what? You need to eliminate every freaking post and article or anything that has the word tranny in it on Facebook.
Well, and it's wrong
Period.
because I don't know if you remember the post where we had the word tranny written over our lips and then we support RuPaul. Well, they have on their page, I'm a woman, not a tranny. Things like of that nature. And,
delusion.
Yeah, delusion is right. But Yeah, it's just crazy how these people, I mean, they have nothing else better to do. They're unhappy. So being so unhappy, they want the rest of the world to be unhappy, and that's why they have to go around flagging everything, telling Hollywood they're doing it all wrong, picking on Jenny McCarthy. And if you don't mind, we're going to continue reading some of the stuff that we have here to share, and feel free to jump in at any time. So this writer writes, get it. It's funny because it's confusing whether Maria is a man or a woman. If you're 5 years old, that is. Granted, we didn't expect much from a woman who has, until now, focused the brunt of her ignorance in spearheading a dangerous and medically discredited campaign against, childhood vaccination. Maybe a good old gluten-free diet will cure her lack of education. Now, this is this writer attacking Jenny McCarthy's character.
Yeah.
Okay, which is...
Well, because Jenny McCarthy made a joke about, autistic, about having an autistic...
No, it wasn't a joke.
It wasn't a joke. She was talking about it. But
she has an autistic child.
Right, I know.
And she's saying that the vaccination...
I understand, but she was joking. She made a joke about the vaccinations or something about autistic children, something to that effect.
No, it wasn't a joke. She was blaming the actual vaccine and promoting a gluten-free diet for autistic. And I'm an occupational therapist, and definitely a gluten-free diet is definitely very good for autistic children. And also, I'm a big believer that vaccines do cause all sorts of problems. But these are people, again, they're beating down on this woman's character because she reported what J-Lo had said.
Right.
It wasn't even her own words, and it's going down her throat. What do you think about that, Cece?
Gosh, man. Well, I mean, yeah, like you said, I mean, there's plenty of evidence that suggests vaccines are just no good. And yeah, I did read up on that study somewhere about, a gluten-free diet helping is somehow correlated to helping children with autism, but I mean the fact that these people are attacking this woman's character, that jeez, man, you all just need to grow up.
That's what they do. They
That's
do
what
a
it's all
smear campaign.
That's what it's
They're
all
trying
become.
to do it to
it's
me.
Like, it's like, okay, if these people don't agree with us, or they don't agree with what we stand for, then we're going to go up against them and we're going to smear their name all over the place. We're going to make them look bad. We're going to try to eliminate them from their careers, kill their careers, and do all this stuff.
Yeah, what they've done with RuPaul. You know what? That's very politically run. What happens every time election time comes? How many commercials do we see? Candidate A attacking candidate B and trying to smear their name so that people. It's very political. And that's what
I'm Jessica Lynn. I
approve this message.
Yeah,
at the end.
Yeah, I am Jessica Lynn. I approve this message at the end.
And that's what they do. And it's this community has been taken over by politics. And if people don't see that there's a reasoning behind it, there is an evil plan behind this, and people are falling for it, which is pretty sad.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all these trivial things that are making the news. It's all just one giant, chaotic distraction.
Exactly. Well, the way they see it is that. You were going to say.
Yeah, so that we don't look at the real problems in the world. They're going to divide so they can conquer, and they take minority groups, pull them against each other so that people don't see what's really going on behind the curtains and unite.
Exactly. And, it's the lack of self-acceptance that leads to self-destruction and a view of the world that is warped. Reading through so many blogs and forums, we see the hatred towards biologically born individuals, which shows the reflection of self-hate, pointing out that using slurs feeds hate and violence, or pointing out the evident, which is we are not genetic, and most see us as deceivers, and does not give the trans community the right to badger others.
Right, and we must learn to understand and stop forcing our views on others. The world owes us nothing.
Exactly.
You or somebody posted, it was an article about a trans woman who had, remained stuff and got involved with this one guy and, had been dating him for some time, and she basically just didn't tell him, and it's like, people still ask, to disclose or to not disclose or when to disclose. It's like, well, this is why a lot of people think we're trickery and stuff. And it's like, no, it's not that at all. It's just
exactly.
You got to accept yourself to grow up, to move forward, man.
Well, yeah, and especially, given the circumstances that, when you do something like that and you're harboring a secret of such a magnitude, you're asking for trouble as a trans woman because, A, being on hormones for an extended period of time and being on female hormones is definitely going to take away the strength that you have. You may still have the knowledge on how to defend yourself, but you're not going to have the strength and physical ability to actually protect yourself in most cases.
And talking about that,
I'm not just saying this for trans women. I mean trans people as a whole.
Trans men too.
You got it. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You got to freaking. You can't. At some point, I don't care if it's on day 1 or day 10. You got to tell people.
I mean, could you imagine, okay, like you were saying, it's for all trans people, trans men included. I mean, could you imagine some psycho Cuban woman, like Mark used to be, some psycho Cuban woman that, goes in, you're a trans man, you hook up with her, and you know how those Spanish women can be with knives. Lorena Bobbitt, just perfect example. Once they realize that, okay, wait a minute, something's not right with this pitcher, what do you think could happen? You're just as much at risk, except,
exactly.
testosterone actually makes you stronger. So you do have a little bit more physical brute strength than you would if you did not take testosterone.
It's just a matter of respect.
Well, hormones or no hormones, you got to show some. I mean, out of respect for your significant other. I mean, come on, man.
It's respect for people in general. I mean, it's like having AIDS and having sex with somebody and not telling them that you have AIDS.
Exactly.
That's freaking murder. That's a felony. I'm glad finally somebody
And then, they want to sit there and call foul. Like this trans woman that was murdered in Alabama, they wrote a note next to her, and after they killed her, and the note read, "You shouldn't lie," Besides the increased hate being steered to our community because of this, because we're looked at as deceiver by our own through the word policing and badgering of genetic individuals, the notion that we can go stealth or not tell those who are planning to engage in sexual activity can lead to catastrophic events. Absolutely. And we're seeing it time and time again, And then they want to blame the person, the oppressor, but the victim is also to blame.
No, I'm not saying that the people who murdered this woman is justified. It's not justified. They could have handled that very differently. But again, it's like, had they just been, a bit more
honest.
Well, and you see the problem with that is that this person's going to get off with a hate crime because he was deceived by this trans woman. Yeah. And, so what's the attorney going to claim? That it was, they got a term for it now. And, it was something that
premeditated,
put somebody in temporary insanity. Yeah. And so they get away with it. And, but I mean, I think it's more important that we sit there and we fight for the banning of words such as tranny or female. You know what I mean? That's
no. If you're going to ban that, you might as well try and ban every racial slur as well. Don't tell me,
I would rather see that these people couldn't get off with that stupid freaking plea that they're going with now because of somebody deceiving.
But you really can't, because that person, put yourself in that person's shoes. You sit there, you've been dating this beautiful woman, you're starting to fall in love with her. And then all of a sudden you sit there and you go, you're going to make love, and you go touch the hoochie, and the hoochie's an outie, and you're like, what the, all of a sudden you get this homophobic thing going inside of you, and you start questioning yourself.
With your psyche.
It messes with your psyche. So I'm sorry.
Because he's been blindsided.
Right. But again, it's no excuse for him to go to the lengths that he did to take somebody else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. I'm not justifying his actions at all.
Neither are we. It's not right. Violence is not right either way.
No.
But,
No.
you know, we can't sit there and call foul all the time. We're like, hey, let's take responsibility as a community. Let's train and teach the new trans generation that it's not okay to lie. And the new trans generation has this thing because they've had it easy. You know, now it's a lot easier to be trans. So they're like, oh, I'm not trans. I'm a real boy or I'm a real girl. And they have this, what's the word I'm looking for? This valor.
It's a delusion.
Yeah.
That they think they can, you know, it's like really, you can't, you have to realize that the world isn't going to, not everyone in the world may see you as you see yourself.
Exactly.
You just got to be okay with that.
And you know, that reminds me, this topic actually reminds me, back years and years ago, I saw a talk show where there was a trans woman that was on stage. She was with this guy. You know, apparently they had been together for like 6 months. This guy fell in love with her and was like, oh, I love her so much, blah, 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 blah. And then, you know, it was like she had to come out and tell a secret. And it was like Sally Jesse Raphael or something like that. So it wasn't a Jerry Springer, you know, sideshow event type of thing. It was actually a real down-to-earth talk show. And so the guy, you know, was like, you know, I love her and she's the greatest and, you know, she's so beautiful and blah, 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 blah. And then the trans girl, they were there because the trans girl had a secret to tell him. So she decides to tell him.
On TV?
And on national television. And then decides to tell him, I was born a male, but I had the surgery to be transitioned to a female. The guy whipped her ass on stage.
Yeah, I mean,
punched her right in the face and was freaking out and crying hysterically. She totally destroyed this guy.
Yeah.
And
we're not seeing that.
And they wonder why, everybody wonders why people hate us so fucking much.
I know.
You know, because of stupid stuff like that.
Yeah, and they're trying to wipe out the culture. I mean, the word tranny has been around forever. And there's a culture. It's a culture.
60s.
Yeah,
the good thing about that. Yeah. I mean, in the 60s, it was used to unite drag queens, trans women.
Say that again, because you're breaking up.
Yeah, you broke up real bad.
You broke up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying, like, back in the 60s, I read somewhere back in, like, the late 60s, the word tranny was used in Australia to unite the trans women and drag queens.
Yes, it's got a lot of history. And these youngins want to come in and wipe the history and wipe this culture, and all of a sudden they want to do things their way.
Because they're women.
And they need to respect the people that have come before them and be grateful that they now have the ability to be who they are as easy as they do compared to years and years ago.
I'm seeing a lot of
what they need to realize is, I mean, respect is not given.
I know.
Exactly.
It is earned.
It's earned.
You know,
absolutely.
just like you know, acceptance. I think to a certain extent in certain situations, but you know, I don't know, man.
Well, what do you think about this, CC? More and more these days, you know, we have been seeing more and more trans individuals claiming to be intersex, and you know, is it more of a self-loathing and thinking they will gain greater acceptance if they state they are intersex versus being a transgender? I mean, you know, you could blatantly see some people that are transgendered or they're intersex, and you can kind of tell because intersex has a lot of different variations.
Well, that's like the latest craze
now.
Yeah.
What's her name? Jamie Curtis.
Yeah.
She has a form of homosexuality, which, you know, she looks kind of masculine, but she still looks feminine at the same time. But, you know, I mean, is this like the new scapegoat to get away from being transgendered is claiming to be intersex?
See, and they talk about everybody else being transphobic. They are transphobic. They themselves.
They're the ones who are creating the transphobia.
Exactly. And they're not seeing it. You know, they are the transphobic.
I believe we are the biggest creators of our own demise, which is, you know.
You know what, though? To your question, Jess, though, I mean, I've often in a lot of health professionals, I've heard health professionals have this conversation where, you know, this debate to where should someone who is transgendered, should they also be considered intersex? And
we could be. Because hormonally,
But
it's
yeah,
not
because
the same.
hormonally, but yeah, exactly. Like when you talk about someone who's intersex, you're talking about someone who's born with, you know, ambiguous characteristics
genitalia
and whatnot.
And they have surgically altered them without asking them.
Yeah,
because they do it,
that's
they
a
do
whole
it on their baby. Yeah, and they go through a lot of medical issues because of what's going on. So no, we can't compare ourselves. Ours is more of a hormonal imbalance.
Yeah,
it very well could be. I think a lot of us have a very an endocrinological bump in the road that causes us to have these opposite feelings. And you know, I don't think there's a problem with that. Okay, yes, that is a form of intersex, but that is not medically defined as intersex.
There is a difference.
Ambiguous genitalia or ambiguous features.
And the Intersex Association has a big, big problem with transgender people considering themselves intersex.
Exactly.
Because I've done a lot of research on that, and they really don't like it.
Not to mention these individuals are telling people and giving them advice as to, you know, being intersex, and here, oh, well, you know, again, power of suggestion. Maybe that's what I am. I'm not transgender anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not a woman, I'm intersex.
Yeah.
You know, we as a community are losing sight of what it means to be transgender. You know, to me, it's a beautiful gift. And
unfortunately, it's going to take a long time for these youngins. If they don't snap out of this wave of thinking now, if they don't realize the damage that they're causing now, it's going to take them a while to realize this.
I think it's much bigger than them. I think it has a lot to do with the political side of everything. You know, the big organizations such as GLAAD, you know, the Huffington Post, all these places. You know, I mean, GLAAD was never even for transgender people. It was Gay Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation. You know, nowhere in that title is there anywhere that it says transgender until they found out that there was a market.
And I want to point something out, that they are concerned that the trans community will unite and become a strong community, and they can't have that. So what are they doing? They're creating they're throwing in all these curveballs to get us to fight.
Splinter group.
Yeah, so that we cannot gain momentum, because it would mean, you know, medical coverage. It would mean a lot of things that politically cost a lot of money for the government, and they don't want that. They don't want that.
Well, they're trying to portray this as the new civil rights movement, and I can tell you right now, genetic people of color, I see coming from all sides of genetic people of color being pissed off about that statement.
Oh, definitely.
Because, no, this is not the new civil rights movement. This is our own movement. This is not a civil rights movement all over again. And this is what it's turning into, and it's becoming absurd. Even genetically born men and women in the African American communities are blatantly getting pissed off about that title.
Yeah, definitely. So anyway, I don't know if we'll be able to discuss the remainder of the stuff.
But that's okay. We had fun.
Next week.
It was a good show.
Definitely. I mean, I think, you know, the trans community needs to really take a look at what's happening here. And they think they're gaining momentum, and actually what they're doing is
climbing uphill and falling backwards.
You know, man, the best thing we can do, for ourselves is, you know what, there's going to be people that are going to fight their battles, and we just got to fight our own. And, you know, we got to find like-minded individuals who, you know, share our values and beliefs and whatnot, and just, you know.
And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them out there. Actually, I was reading a little something about Kristen Beck, who is very upset at the community because they're attacking her. They're attacking. No one is safe from this.
Exactly.
Nobody's safe.
No, I mean,
look, it's funny to me how, you know, the advocates, Katrina Adams, Andrea James, you know, all these big names, Buck Angel, you've been around forever. You know, there's Jane County, Jane County, Wayne County. She was an icon for years and years. And everybody in this new advocacy movement is attacking all these real true advocates, and now we have this other thing. It's all about the color of your skin or your age. And it's becoming very distasteful, and people are really getting turned off by the trans community, both inside and outside. And it's only, again, like climbing a steep hill and falling backwards, you know, you take 50 steps forward only to fall back 200. Exactly. And, you know, it's really going to hurt our movement big time if things don't change at some point. But eventually people will start to wake up, because Mark and I have seen that people are starting to really wake up and see what the hell is going on. Yeah. You know, it's almost like exactly what society did to create the sheeple. It's happening here in the LGBT now. So, you know,
no different.
Keep their eyes open and focused, because the LGBT were the ones that were always very awakened.
Yeah. And
very open, eyes were wide open. They must have had writer's eyewear or something, because they were able to see that they were being turned into sheeple and walking away, you know? So,
something's got to give, and the community, the other voice has to stand up and let these people know that it's not okay. They don't speak for us, and they need to stop smearing.
I have to tell you,
that's crazy. You've got all these 4 women. You've got all these, you know, these 4 major advocates, and it's almost like they're drowning out the other voices. It's like the crazy ones are allowed to speak the loudest, but what about those of us? You know, there's a saying somewhere, I think it says something like, one who speaks very little can say a lot, you know, and vice versa for those who speak a lot.
Well, really funny story. I mean, you know, I bought a pair of Writer's eyewear glasses, you know, the sports glasses, and I just found out I had a penis. Holy shit. All these years I thought I was a girl. Come to find out, I looked out with these glasses, and boop, there it is.
That's why they don't want the eyewear out there, because they're afraid they're going to find out the truth.
People are going to see you through your clothing and realize you're a chick with a dick, you know.
Anyway, thank you so much, Cece, for joining us.
Yes, thank you, Cece.
Yeah, no, I was good talking with you guys, and I was a little late start. I called in. I'm like, wait a minute, I have no idea what they're talking about. I'm gonna sound like a babbling idiot. Yeah, way to go.
No,
I sound like the babbling idiot. That's my job. Okay, Cece, thank you.
No, we always appreciate other voices, and that's why, you know, the show, you know what kills me? It's like the other voice never calls to the show to voice their opinion. No. It's like, okay, it's open for
that's what this platform is for.
Exactly.
That's what you're trying to get people to do, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, hey, it's like we always say, you know, when the time comes, you know, it takes a lot of guts to get out there and really show the world who you are.
Yeah.
And a lot of these activists behind the keyboard, they don't have to show who they are. They hide behind logos.
Yeah.
They hide behind, you know, falsification of identity for themselves. They're not really being true to themselves.
Yeah.
And here they are claiming to be so true and to be such an advocate and fighter for the community. Fight back!
You know, the call would be, hi, my name's Joanna, and I really don't like Franny. Okay, so I'm a real woman. Damn it!
I'm a real boy.
That's why they don't call. So it's easy to get behind the keyboard and call me all sorts of names.
Exactly. You know,
it's crazy. They really.
Well, I'm glad you're protecting yourself, man. Just keep doing what you're doing. You know.
Definitely. It's all right. I got a machete.
They're gonna censor you, but.
You know,
we're gonna try.
Have you seen any movies of the machete? The dude with the machete. Machete. I'm Cuban.
Oh, that cheesy movie with Charlie Sheen, you mean?
Yes, it's got a whole bunch of good actors.
Yes, but I'm very good with a machete because I'm Cuban, and I prefer a machete over a gun.
Yes, I know. That's why I don't let him cook in the kitchen, because he keeps cutting our counter, and it's driving me fucking crazy. You know? I'm using you see him in the kitchen chopping celery with a machete, and meanwhile I got to go and varnish the whole top of the counter because he's destroyed it. It's like, really, can't you use a paring knife?
Anyway, thank you so much, Chief, and talk to you soon.
Thanks, Cece. We love you, honey.
Talking to you. Love you too. Love you too, guys.
We'll talk to you later. Have a great night.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening in. I want to thank our sponsor again. Remember to tune in on Thursday. We have got... I forgot her name now.
Should have pulled up the...
let me see here. I should have it over here. It's like so many different things. Shelby Chang she's actually a producer and promoter of an amazing film the LGBT Love Story. She'll be live with us this Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A lot of very exciting guests coming up on our
Absolutely.
TV show, so you guys definitely
Absolutely.
want to check that out.
Yep.
We are...
Oh, no, go ahead.
We are enjoying Silver City. This is
Yeah.
amazing. This is
Oh, it's gorgeous.
gorgeous, beautiful
hot
weather.
but gorgeous.
Yes.
All in the same time. No, I was going to say, since we were speaking on the topic of love, we have something to say.
That's right.
We love you, but remember to always love yourselves, too. Good night.
Good night, folks.
Mwah.
Good night. Thank you, Cece, again.
Thank you for calling in, Cece.